Could the WNBA be headed to a lockout?
Everything is pointing to a player strike, basically a lockout for now.
The WNBA is teetering on the edge of a potential lockout, with tensions escalating as players demand fair compensation, a larger share of revenue, and genuine respect from league leadership. The situation feels like a powder keg waiting to ignite, with a player strike looming as a real possibility for the 2026 season. Despite the league's unprecedented growth, fueled by stars like Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, and others, the WNBA seems to be mishandling its moment in the spotlight. Players are fed up, and their frustration is palpable. The Collective Bargaining Agreement (CBA) is set to expire on October 31, 2025, a deadline that looms like a dark cloud over the league's future. If negotiations continue to stall, the WNBA could face a catastrophic lockout, threatening to derail the momentum it has worked so hard to build. The players' grievances were on full display during the All-Star weekend, when over 40 athletes took to the court in warm-up t-shirts emblazoned with the bold message, "Pay us what you owe us." This wasn't just a fashion statement. It was a unified cry for change, a warning shot aimed squarely at the league's leadership. The message was clear. The players are the heart of the WNBA, driving its popularity and growth, yet they feel undervalued and underpaid. The t-shirts were a symbolic middle finger to a system that, in their view, prioritizes expansion and profits over the athletes who make it all possible. The timing couldn't be more ironic. Halloween 2025 marks the expiration of the CBA, a spooky deadline that could spell doom for the upcoming season if no agreement is reached. If forced to pinpoint one issue to prioritize in the new CBA, the answer is clear: higher salaries. A recent survey of players revealed that 70% consider increased pay their top concern, with 8% advocating for more roster spots, another 8% pushing for minimum standards, and 5% emphasizing better resources for families. The focus on salaries isn't surprising when you consider the numbers. The WNBA's minimum salary is a modest $66,000, with the maximum topping out at $249,000. Compare that to the NBA, where the minimum salary is $1.27 million, over 5 times the WNBA's maximum. This disparity isn't just a gap, it's a chasm that highlights the league's failure to equitably compensate its talent. Players aren't asking for outrageous sums. They want a flexible revenue-sharing model that reflects the league's growth. If the WNBA is raking in more money, shouldn't the players who drive that success see a fair share? The league's financial growth is undeniable. Attendance has surged by 13% year-over-year, with average game crowds now reaching 11,000, nearly double the 5,600 average from 2022. Ticket sales have skyrocketed by 26%, and All-Star voting has exploded from 96,000 votes in 2023 to 1.29 million in 2024. These figures reflect a league finally capturing mainstream attention, thanks in large part to players like Caitlin Clark, whose star power has filled arenas, and Angel Reese, whose social media presence keeps the WNBA trending. Yet, despite this golden era, the players remain woefully underpaid. The league's revenue-sharing model gives players just 9.3% of the pie, compared to the NBA's 50% split with its athletes. This stark contrast underscores a fundamental issue. The WNBA's leadership seems more interested in capitalizing on the players' success than rewarding it. The frustration boiled over during the All-Star weekend, where 2 negotiation meetings between players and league officials ended in disaster. Insiders described the talks as a complete failure, with both sides leaving the table frustrated and no closer to a resolution. The players, tired of empty promises, have shifted from diplomacy to defiance. The "Pay Us What You Owe Us" t-shirts weren't just a protest. They were a declaration of war against a system that undervalues their contributions. The players' unity was evident, though notably none of Caitlin Clark's teammates were present at the meeting where the t-shirt protest was organized, a detail that raised eyebrows but didn't diminish the overall message. The WNBA's financial success makes the players' demands even more justified. Franchise values are soaring, with the average team now worth $269 million, a 180% increase year-over-year. The Golden State Valkyries, who joined the league in 2023 for $50 million, are now valued at over $500 million, a tenfold return on investment in just 1 year. New franchises in Cleveland, Detroit, and Philadelphia are set to join between 2028 and 2030, each paying a staggering $250 million in expansion fees, a five-fold increase from the Valkyries' price tag. The money is clearly there, yet the players see little of it. The owners, who control just 42% of the league, claim their hands are tied, but this excuse falls flat when you consider the league's explosive growth. The issue isn't a lack of funds, it's a matter of priorities. The players' demands extend beyond salaries. Roster sizes are another sore point. WNBA teams often rely on hardship contracts, temporary deals to fill roster spots due to injuries or other issues because the league doesn't provide enough permanent spots. This leads to instability, with teams scrambling to find players mid-season, sometimes signing athletes who are out of the league entirely. It's a chaotic system that undermines the professionalism of a league experiencing record-breaking growth. Expanding the number of roster spots would provide more opportunities for players and create deeper, more competitive teams, but the league seems more focused on adding new franchises than fixing the ones it already has. The introduction of charter flights, a long overdue improvement, is another example of the league's half-hearted efforts. After years of players enduring commercial flights, often on budget airlines with delays and cramped conditions, the WNBA finally rolled out charters. But even this feels like a token gesture. The implementation has been inconsistent, with some teams still facing logistical nightmares. The league pats itself on the back for catching up to a standard the NBA has enjoyed for decades, but for players, it's a reminder of how low the bar has been set. Adding fuel to the fire is the emergence of Unrivaled, a new player-owned league founded by stars like Nafisa Collier and Breanna Stewart. Unrivaled isn't just a side project, it's a direct challenge to the WNBA's authority. With significant funding and a model that prioritizes flexibility, fair pay, and respect for athletes, Unrivaled offers players an alternative that doesn't rely on the WNBA's outdated structure. The new league allows players to earn substantial money during the offseason without the grueling travel demands of overseas play, which many WNBA athletes have historically relied on to supplement their incomes. Unrivaled's existence is a wake-up call for the WNBA, proving that players don't need the league as much as the league needs them. The WNBA's leadership is understandably rattled. Nafisa Collier's decision to wear an Unrivaled t-shirt during the All-Star draft wasn't a mistake. It was a deliberate power move. In front of sponsors, fans, and Commissioner Kathy Engelbert, Collier sent a clear message: the players hold the cards. If the WNBA doesn't meet their demands, Unrivaled is ready to step in, offering better pay and conditions without the baggage of a league that seems to undervalue its stars. The power dynamic has shifted, and the WNBA is struggling to keep up. A lockout would be disastrous for the WNBA, especially given its current momentum. The 2011 NBA lockout, which shortened the season to 66 games and disrupted the schedule, serves as a cautionary tale. The NBA had the financial clout to weather the storm, but the WNBA, still heavily subsidized by the NBA and not yet consistently profitable, doesn't have that luxury. A lost season could alienate fans, scare off sponsors, and undo years of progress. The gains made by players like Clark and Reese, packed arenas, soaring viewership, and mainstream relevance could evaporate overnight. Empty arenas and canceled games would leave the league scrambling to explain why its stars are playing elsewhere, likely in Unrivaled's welcoming arms. The players aren't bluffing. They've done the interviews, worn the shirts, and made their demands public. They're not asking for handouts. They're demanding a fair share of the wealth they've helped create. The league's leadership, however, seems content to let the situation fester. Negotiations have stalled, with insiders predicting no resolution before the October 31, 2025 deadline. Both sides are entrenched, with trust at an all-time low. The players feel betrayed by a league that's thriving because of their talent, while the owners and executives appear more focused on expansion than addressing the immediate crisis.